Hello, neighbors. This is Jessica in Communications for the City of Battle Creek, and this is the City Commission regular agenda preview for Tuesday, October 17th. If you're new to these preview videos or need a reminder about the different parts of our agenda, check out the link to our introduction video down in the description box. You can follow along with the agenda on our website, battlecreekmi.gov. Visit the Your Government tab, Mayor and City Commission, then Agendas, Minutes, and Videos. Click under Online Agenda for the date of the agenda you want to see, and you will get the pop-up like we have right here. The regular City Commission meeting starts at 7 p.m. in the Commission chambers at City Hall, and that's up on the 3rd floor. So let's get into it. The Commission will present one proclamation for Lights On After School Day on October 26th, which is a national celebration of after-school programs and what they mean to youth, their families, and our communities. The Commission will hear two presentations. One is a staff report from our Code Compliance Manager, Jason Francisco, and the second is an American Rescue Plan Act Community Project presentation from Terry Knoll of What Do Theater. The Commission will hear one item under Petitions, Communications, and Reports, a report and recommendation from the city's Local Officers Compensation Commission. This group met on October 9th to determine city commissioner salaries. They receive an amount of money for each meeting that they participate in throughout the year. With a vote of 5-0 in favor, this commission recommended these salaries for city commissioners: $250 per meeting for each commissioner, which is a $50 increase, $275 per meeting for the vice mayor, a $75 increase, and $300 per meeting for the mayor, a $100 increase. They made this recommendation based on the current state of the city's budget, the roles and responsibilities of commissioners, and that this would be the first increase in 18 years, the last being in 2005, among other reasons. The Commission will hear and consider 3 ordinance introductions. One proposes to remove an ordinance the Commission approved in September 2022. That ordinance created a tax exemption with a payment in lieu of taxes, often called a pilot, and we're going to talk about that a lot in this meeting. This one was for Blue Light 4 redevelopment project at the former Kmart site at Dickman Road and Capitol Avenue. A pilot is basically a tax exemption for a housing development. A big part of the financing for this proposed development relied on low-income housing tax credits from the state of Michigan, but unfortunately the developer did not receive that financing. So they've put together a new plan for financing for the project, and the ordinance that was approved last year is no longer needed. So this ordinance introduction would repeal it. The second ordinance introduction is related to that. It updates the city ordinance with the terms of the tax exemption for the restructured plans for the Blue Light redevelopment project. The Hollander Group developer has put together a new financing plan that includes one project and one pilot ordinance or tax exemption. The project is proposed now in multiple phases, and again, this is at the old Kmart site. The first phase of the project will include an affordable housing residential development, including workforce housing, an early childhood center, and a community center. The third ordinance introduction is another pilot or housing tax exemption. It is for the Northern Pines Apartments project, which proposes building permanent supportive housing community with 62 units. It would combine the housing portion with voluntary support services that help people experiencing homelessness. And this is a project of the developer Upholdings. Next, the Commission will consider 4 ordinance adoptions, and all 4 of these were approved for introduction at the Commission's October 3rd meeting, so they might all sound familiar. If these are approved on Tuesday the 17th, then they will join the city ordinances. The first one proposes changes to the medical marijuana facilities ordinance. One of the updates looks to eliminate the hearing before the Commission would suspend, revoke, or not renew a marijuana permit. Instead, staff would do this administratively, and there would be a hearing if the permittee wants to appeal. The others have to do with including ungendered language, being clear that if someone fails to renew their permit on time, it's automatically suspended, and adding an excess grower permit. The second ordinance adoption proposes changes to the ordinance that regulates adult use marijuana businesses, the same as the previous ordinance for medical. The third ordinance adoption proposes updates to our zoning code as approved by the Planning Commission at their meeting on Wednesday, September 27th. Staff proposes updates as they use the code and understand ways to make it work better. Some of the updates are to require outdoor storage on commercial and industrial properties be screened by a fence, reduces restrictions on community gardens and allows more related activities for those gardens on properties that are more than 2 acres, and reduces the buffer between marijuana processing facilities and residential districts from 1,000 feet to 500 feet. The fourth and final ordinance adoption proposes rezoning 24 properties along East Michigan Avenue, Green Street, and Yuba Street. They are currently high-density multifamily and neighborhood commercial, and this would rezone them to downtown commercial, the T4 district. This would give the area more flexibility in development, like in this case with residential density and required setbacks. In T4, it allows building construction from lot line to lot line. The goal of this is to support Upholdings, LLC, we mentioned them earlier, which wants to develop that permanent supportive housing development. And this is, again, a type of development that offers affordable housing along with voluntary services that could include childcare, mental health, and services for those with disabilities. Next is the consent agenda for October 17th. It includes minutes from a previous meeting, the city manager's report for the evening, and resolutions 262 to 266. And here's a quick rundown of what those will consider. 262 considers accepting the best value proposal to provide construction administration, which means making sure the project would run smoothly, to replace the generator at the Battle Creek Executive Airport Air Traffic Control Tower. That proposal is from Mead and Hunt for just under $55,200. 263, 264, and 265 appoint and reappoint members to some of the city's boards, commissions, and councils. And 266 does that too, but it appoints the city's 2 representatives to the TACC. That is the acronym for the newly created Transportation Authority of Calhoun County. Calhoun County Commissioners approved the creation of that authority at their September 7th meeting, and forming the authority board is one of the first steps to moving forward with a more robust countywide public transportation. The suggested appointees in this resolution are Commissioner Janasia Morris and community member Eric Stewart, who has longtime economic development experience. And finally, we have 2 regular resolutions, number 267 and 268. Reso 267 is related to Reso 262 in the consent agenda and considers acceptance of the lowest responsible bid for the Battle Creek Executive Airport Air Traffic Control Tower generator replacement. That bid came from Motor Shop Electrical Construction for $377,250. In this project, we're going to replace the current diesel-powered backup generator at the air traffic control tower with a new natural gas-powered backup generator. And this project will include installation of a natural gas line to that new generator. Reso 268 considers allowing the city to enter into an option contract with UP Development. This is an agreement that gives them the option to buy 3 vacant properties on East Michigan Avenue and 1 property at the corner of East Michigan and Yuba Street. This relates to an earlier item on the agenda for the tax exemption for the Northern Pines Apartments Permanent Supportive Housing Project. That's everything on the agenda for the October 17th regular City Commission meeting. For more information and to see more detail and documents related to each agenda item, please check it out online or get a paper copy in the City Clerk's office at City Hall. Thanks for joining me for this City Commission agenda preview for October 17th, 2023. Watch the City Commission live or as replays on the City of Battle Creek, Michigan YouTube channel and get connected with your City of Battle Creek.